Inside a private VIP room at the Venetian, Macau, a guy in a sharp suit slides a stack of dead chips across the table. To the security cameras, this looks like a normal $100,000 bet. But in the shadows, someone is marking a secret notebook with a pen. For every dollar the casino actually sees, another 20 are being bet out the back. By the time the dealer flips the cards, that $100,000 bet has turned into a $2 million deal. Legally speaking, that money doesn't even exist. In 2013, Macau reported $45 billion in gambling money. That's 7 times more than the entire Las Vegas Strip. But experts think the real number was over $200 billion. A mountain of cash, bigger than the budget of most countries, was moving through a back-betting system. It was invisible to the government and protected by private muscle. How do you move billions across a border without a single suitcase? It starts with a phone call, a puppet, and a room that isn't technically there. China has a massive problem, and the government calls it capital flight. If you live in mainland China, the government keeps your money on a very short leash. You are legally forbidden from moving more than $50,000 out of the country per year. For a regular person, that's a fortune. For a billionaire who wants to buy a penthouse in London, it's a cage. It's like having a no-spend alert on your entire life. The money is trapped behind a great financial wall. But there is one tiny door left unlocked: Macau. It's the only spot in China where gambling is legal. It makes more cash than Vegas, but the real money is hidden. It's in windowless VIP rooms. These rooms operate like their own little countries. The casino owns the building, but they rent the space to junket operators. These are middlemen for the super rich. They turned money laundering into a simple 3-step trick. Step 1. A billionaire drops $10 million in cash at a travel office in Shanghai. Step 2. He flies to Macau with 0 bags and 0 cash. Step 3. He walks into a private VIP suite where $10 million in gambling chips are already sitting on the table. Technically, no money ever crossed the border. The cash stayed in Shanghai and the credit was issued in Macau. It's a shadow bank disguised as a high-stakes vacation. But then, the government started watching the chips. They began tracking the wins and losses to see who was suddenly becoming a millionaire at the table. To stay invisible, the junkets had to go deeper. They needed a way to bet that didn't exist on any computer or any camera. They called it the Multiplier. Let's go back into that windowless room. On the table, there is a public bet. This is the one the casino sees. The gambler puts down a $10,000 chip. The dealer flips the cards, the gambler wins, and the casino pays him $10,000. In the official books, everything looks normal. But in the junket's private ledger, they are playing a ghost bet. Before the game started, the gambler and the junket operator agreed on a multiplier of 20. This means that every $1 on the table actually represents $20 in the real world. When the gambler wins that $10,000 hand, the junket operator doesn't just owe him $10,000. He owes him $200,000. This is the ultimate hack. The government takes a 39% cut of all gambling revenue in Macau. But since the ghost money never hits the table, the government gets $0. There is 0 paper trail and no digital record of the $190,000 difference. It's just a handshake between junket and the billionaire. The junket operators were essentially running their own shadow casinos inside the real ones. They were stealing billions in tax revenue, using the physical casinos as nothing more than a stage for their illegal theater. You could have a room that looks empty, while in reality, hundreds of millions are being laundered every hour. To keep this system running, you need absolute secrecy and a king who can manage the chaos. For a decade, that king was Alvin Chau. To move billions, you don't just need a ghost ledger. You need a ghost army. The most sophisticated part of the Macau glitch wasn't the math, it was the proxy. While the billionaire sat in a safe house in Beijing, he needed a physical body to stand at the table in Macau. These weren't professional gamblers. They were often salarymen or students, regular people with clean records who were paid to be a human remote control. This is where the tech gets eerie. In the mid-2000s, the junkets pioneered over-the-shoulder betting. The proxy would wear a hidden earpiece or a pair of glasses with a micro camera. On the other end of a high-speed encrypted line, the billionaire would watch the cards in real time. He would whisper, "Bet," or "Fold," and the proxy would move the chips. This created a massive legal loophole. The person gambling wasn't the owner of the money, and the owner of the money wasn't even in the building. Intelligence reports show that entire floors of supposedly empty VIP rooms were actually filled with hundreds of these proxies, all taking orders from invisible players across the border. It turned the casino into a giant physical server farm for money laundering. The border guards were looking for suitcases of cash, but the money was moving through the air, disguised as a vacation for 1,000 ordinary people. The government eventually realized that the tourist at the table was just a puppet, a piece of human hardware. This human hardware was the final bridge between the old world shadow banking and the new world digital economy. Alvin Chau was the face of the new Macau. He wasn't a street thug, he was polished. He wore designer suits, produced blockbuster movies, and ran Sun City, an empire that controlled 50% of the junket market. He created an ecosystem where a Chinese billionaire could lose money in Macau and pay it back by investing in a real estate project in Manila. But Chau made one fatal mistake. He got too loud. In 2021, the Chinese government decided they had seen enough. The capital flight, the massive amount of money leaving China, was becoming a threat to the national economy. They didn't just want to stop the gambling, they wanted to kill the system that allowed billions to vanish. China changed the law to make soliciting citizens to gamble a federal crime. They found a secret ledger containing over 60,000 side bets. In 2023, the Junket King was sentenced to 18 years in prison and ordered to pay the government nearly $1 billion in lost tax revenue. Today, Macau has smart tables. They use RFID technology and AI cameras to track every single chip in real time. If you try to play a ghost hand today, the system flags it in milliseconds. The windowless rooms where secret ledgers were once marked are now luxury shopping malls. The junket era is officially dead. But the billions of ghost dollars didn't just vanish. They just moved to a place where the government can't follow. When the lights went out in Macau's VIP rooms, the billions didn't just return to China. They migrated to emerging jurisdictions. Think of Vietnam, Cambodia, and the lawless border zones of Myanmar. In these regions, the regulation is paper-thin, and the old junket model has evolved into the e-junket. Instead of flying billionaires into private rooms, these new syndicates use high-speed live streams. You sit in a penthouse in Beijing and place a $5 million bet in a casino in the Mekong Delta with a single tap on an encrypted app. And the currency of choice is no longer plastic chips. It's Tether, USDT. This is a digital dollar that moves across borders instantly, leaving no bank records for the police to seize. The shadow banks have traded their ledgers for cold storage wallets. The Macau government has purified its city, but in doing so, they've pushed the system into the deepest, darkest corners of the internet. And right now, somewhere in Southeast Asia, a new room is being built, a new phone is ringing, and a new ghost game is about to begin.